Well, hello, hello, hello. Nice to have you with me for a few minutes. Um, Today's video is a little bit different from the other ones. Something that I have mentioned in the past is that I am not a fan of scooters. However, I will say there are rules to every exception. Today's a day that I decided to take the scooter out for a very good reason. As you can see, the weather's really bad, so I decided to send my bikes off to get some detailing because there's a long holiday coming up and I'll be riding them around a bit, and I just wanted them to look nice. So I decided to take out my little scooter, or as I like to call it, the Toyota Corolla of the scooter world. So let's take a look at it right now. And here it is, a Yamaha BWS from 2012. The only scooter that I have to say that I kind of like. Now, let me get into a little bit of the, I'm not going to say the history about it. Well, they have been around for a while. When they were first introduced, they were 50cc, and then they increased the power. Now, here in Taiwan, these little BWS scooters, or as they're called in other countries, the Zuma, have a fairly big cult following here. This one I did buy secondhand, and it was actually pretty good nick, only because the guy that had it almost never rode it in the rain, and he had it parked in his underground parking, and then it was covered, and he would only take it out every now and again. So I did change some things on it. Let me get to those first. First, I changed the parts in the CVT, which is down here. The top speed on these is around 100 kilometers per hour, and that depends what you had for lunch. So they're not exactly fast, but I made some adjustments to the weight rollers that were inside the CVT, and now I can get it up to about 115, which isn't bad for 9 horsepower and 125cc. The other thing was I replaced the suspension. These are the new suspension. I wanted something a little bit more firmer that can be adjusted. So these two shocks in the back can be adjusted, and it's something actually that's fairly easy to do. The other thing that I had replaced on it was I removed the original rear indicators, and I changed this whole part here, so now the left and the right flash on these two. And I just ordered them to also replace the ones in front, which will go inside here and here. Now, I said in Taiwan these bikes have a big cult following. There's a few reasons for that, because there's people that actually race them. The modifications that you can get done here, and I suppose maybe some other places as well, are just astonishing. I'm keeping this one stock, but there are people that have done modifications to go from 125cc to 155cc, as high as 190cc, and also adding a water cooling system, because these are air cooled. Now, this model is from 2012, and when I was looking online at the Zuma that was being sold in other countries from this same period, the thing that I noticed was the display. This is a digital display. Let me turn it on. And the ones that I saw being sold as the Zuma were all analog displays. So I don't know why that is. It'd be interesting to find out. Mind you, however, there were some that were sold with the analog display as well. So why are these bikes so popular? Well, they just keep going and going and going and going. There are, however, a few things about it that I don't like. It's not really a concern for me, but it is a concern if you are a passenger. The feet support for the passenger, which are down here on this side, and then of course around on the other side, make the seating position not very comfortable. Second of all, if you are a passenger in the back and you hit a bump, you're going to get your back hit with this part all the time. Now, this can be removed, but I decided to keep it on because I found not long ago, actually, it was quite useful for towing somebody who got stuck. There's also another one in front as well. Now, some people do remove these, but I decided to keep them on. So yeah, the BWS from Yamaha, also sold as the Zuma in other countries as well. It has a fantastic 125cc engine. Like I said, just keeps going and going and going. Fuel tank is just about 3.8 liters, and about 3.8 liters, I've ridden the bike from completely full to completely empty, and I get about 142 kilometers, which isn't, I don't know if that's good or bad, to be perfectly honest. Personally, I think it's bad, because this bike does drink fuel when you go at high speed. And the thing actually that's interesting about this particular model here from this year is they're known for, well, they're, like I said, they're known for being extremely reliable, but they're also known for being quite noisy. And not noise from the exhaust, but noise from the engine. They're just very noisy, but it doesn't really bother me so much because they are incredibly reliable. There are so many aftermarket parts for these bikes here in Taiwan that, I mean, you could just go through some of the websites that sell all kinds of parts, and you'll be able to change practically everything on here, from the exhaust to the fairings to even small, tiny little insignificant parts, for very little money indeed. So yes, the BWS Yamaha 125, or the Zuma, as it's sold in other countries. There is a new version of this bike that has come out, but I am, to be honest, I'm not really a fan of it. I don't know why. I don't know why. The other thing, of course, that people do with these is they also take them off-road, changing the tires, changing the suspension, and yeah, people do take them off-road. There's a pretty good ground clearance on them as well. So yeah, the only scooter that I actually like. Okay, that's not really true. I do also like the Yamaha Force and the Cygnus and the T-Max, but the small BWS happens to be one of my favorites. It's an excellent bike if you're just going to do like A to B trips. I have done longer trips on it, and I'm very surprised at how the little 125cc engine performs. Now, I change the oil in the engine every 1,000 kilometers and the CVT oil every 2,000 kilometers. But there was one trip that I did that was 17 hours nonstop. The only time I stopped actually was to fill the tank, but the rest of the time I just kept going. And the bike performed as it should. And the other nice thing is that they are inexpensive. And that's pretty much the way it is around the world. Here in Taiwan, a secondhand one from this year is between, let's say, 20 or 30,000 Taiwan dollars, and you'll see a conversion as well. And when I was checking the prices overseas, they were also inexpensive. Anyway, that's it. That's all for now. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.